Hey trade, it's Shane from GMT Futures. Hope you're having a great day. Let's have a look at the V2 end of the trend setup short. Now, this is the newest of our strategies for the V2, and it really combines the trend trader and looking at obviously when the trend ends. Now, we know as traders that the trend is always your friend except for when the trend's over, but we also know and we're aware that the markets generally trend only 15 to 20% of the time. So there are lots of opportunities intraday and end of day to capture these end of trend setups. Now, what we've done is we've left it open for a little bit of for you to decide exactly how far with the automation you want your trend to run. Now, for us with our strategy, obviously a trend setup is when we get a cyan candle setup breaking resistance. That basically is the initial point or start of our trend setup. And likewise for the short, if we get a white candle break support, then we've got our start of our trend setup. So it's a very clear and easy and objective way to measure the trend, but with the automation you've got the ability to be able to actually specifically put in how far that trend has to run before you will actually look to take the end of the trend setup. So for the purpose of this video, I've got mine set at 20, so I want to see price move at least 20 points and set it from its entry to its high point before I look for an end of the trend setup. So that's basically my rule for the end of the trend. Now we're going to go through here and just mark up a couple of things, and I'll just do that on the chart now as we get into it. So you can see here we enter, and I'll just move this down. The trade enters at 101.26 or 26 there, and it pushes up nicely. You can see the trend moves up there, hits a high point for us on that trade at 102.15. So that's our high for the run up, and you can see here that we've got our pivot high there, and then we have a lower high here. Now this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this initial setup here. Now we come back and we get some support. Now if you are a pullback trader, you will recognize that that's a potential pullback setup there. And what we're looking for is we're looking for this end of the trend potential, either a double top or a lower high to come in. So that resistance level, because we want to sell off resistance, because we know that once we get this run up, and we've got volume divergence here as well. Now that's not part of that hasn't been built into the strategy yet, but that's certainly something you can look to add to your charts manually. You would look to see that at least in this run up here that you get a volume divergent sell setup. Now it may not occur over here, but it definitely needs to occur in this period here. Now as you can see, we start to pull back, and then we get this. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for that resistance sell area. So the criteria is we need at least 20 points. We need to set up a high. Price pulls back. Then we set up that resistance, either lower high or a double top. Now you can actually specify in your strategy automation that you'll take a trade if it overshoots the high by 5 or 10 ticks, but that's up to you. The strategy for me basically works best when we make a double top. It's maybe a small overshoot of 5 ticks or a lower high. So you can see a perfect lower high sets up here. So we're sellers here. Now this is a 150 tick, and it works really well on the just the higher tick charts. So the 150 tick, you're obviously going to need to have a slightly bigger stop. So what we'll do is we'll basically measure this. It's 101.96. So I would be always looking to work a 5 to 8 point stop off the off resistance, and my entry is again 5 to 8 points. So here we get in. It's 96 is the resistance point, and we get in there at 101.89. So that's a nice little entry, and you can see here that once we get into the trade, we're looking to go short, so we're selling off resistance, and as you can see here, the trade sets up the corresponding support level. So what happens once support level sets up, our stop then needs to go to break even. So we move our stop to break even, and then we've got a few options with the trailing stop. We can either use the TP trailing stop, so that's that little red dot there, and you can see that does a really good job of keeping us in the trade. If you have a negative 3 or 4 point offset, then you're not going to get taken out till down here at around about, say, 86. Sorry, not 86, 30. So that would give you 1.56 points, so $1,560, a nice trade short. Now, you may decide that, well, I don't really want to use the trailing profit as my, or TP as my trailing stop. I want to use resistance. So you can do that as well. As resistance sets up, you move your above the resistance level, and you can see you're taking out around about the same price anyway. Or what you can alternatively do is use the swing high. So you can use the swing high as your trailing stop, and you can see that the swing high is marked with these red dots. So once that gets broken by whatever factor or whatever numerical value you put in there, that will take the trade out. So if again you had a swing, alright traders, so we basically can use, as I mentioned before, the trailing stop, the resistance stop on the way down for the sell, or we can use the previous swing or the swing high as we go down, and that becomes our stop. And you can see here, using the swing high, we would have got down to this level here at around at 100, so 110, and then obviously a break of that area would have taken us out. Now you can set your pivots on the swing high, so you can set it to 3, 5, 8, 10, whatever it is that you decide you want to have. So again, there's a bit of adjustability in the strategy, and that will really come back to how it tests up anyway. So that's really the crux of it. The entry is based off resistance, and you've got 3 variables for your trailing stop. Now you can actually just have a fixed target. Now I'm going to go through in a minute the actual automation and what it actually means. So you actually can take the trade and have a fixed target on your entry. So that's a handy little feature if you're looking to just quantify exactly what your reward to risk is going to be on every trade. So that is a quick summary of the sell setup for the end of the trend trade setup. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, Shane at globalmarkettrader.com.